Welcome to another edition of Real Bigfoot Encounters with Reverend Jeff. This week's story comes to us from high in the redwoods of Humboldt County, California. This skeptical fisherman gets more than what he bargains for when not one, but two Bigfoot decided to let him know that they're watching. Enjoy the story. It was a typical winter afternoon in Humboldt County. It was raining intermittently and the river was on the rise and becoming too turbid to fish. But I wanted to catch another steal before the river blew out, so I drove down to the river bar to give it a shot. I parked about 30 yards away from the river's edge on a dirt road surrounded by dense willows. I turned off the car and opened up the door. Immediately I heard two bellows that seemed far off. I initially thought it was the local kids. The best I can do to describe the noise is to ask you to try and make it. Put your lips together and try to make the sound of a bee, and then bellow. Whoop! Wait 2 seconds and do it again. That's what I heard. To this day, I can physically emulate the sound. The sound was similar to the bugle of a bull elk. I used to work at a horse patrol park ranger on the eastern slope of the Rockies, so I know what elk sound like. This definitely wasn't it. Well, I didn't know much of it, so I got on my waders and proceeded to the river's edge. I waded up to thigh high and began fishing, moving slowly downstream. The river was probably about 50 yards wide and nearly full. About 10 minutes went by, and I noticed a dark figure downstream and across the river, seemingly standing behind a large root wad. I could see what I thought was a head and shoulders of a bear or something. It was drizzling, and I couldn't focus on it at first. I wasn't sure if it was an animal I thought it was, or just be some kind of a root wad. As I fished downstream, I worked my way directly across from it and looked at it again. I looked right into its eyes. They were dark, and it didn't move. Then I saw another just to its left. I could see its body from the thigh up. It didn't move as well. It was looking slightly downstream, and I couldn't see its eyes. These things looked taller than a man, had a flat face, large round eyes. Their shoulders were broad, and their arms were long. They were mostly covered in hair, although one of them on the left seemed to have bald spots on his chest area like mange. They stood still, never once moved. I kept fishing and tried to work downstream of them, see where I could find a tail out and possibly sneak across the river to get a closer look, but the river was too high. As I worked back upstream, I noticed a cocoon-shaped object perched on the root wad overhanging the river's edge. It was shaped like a football, but was probably 4 feet long and 2.5 feet in diameter. This cocoon thing appeared to be neatly wrapped in dry grasses like cattail or pampas grass blades. I kept fishing, moving upstream. I looked back towards my car at one point. Then I looked back over again at the cocoon-like thing, and the animals were gone. A day later, I drove to the other side of the river to go and see if I could track them, but the river had flooded that entire area. I don't follow Bigfoot stuff, but I do know no bones have ever been found. As a scientist, this encounter has stimulated me. A few people from the area said that they have heard the same sounds. One guy said he almost hit one with his truck near Tittle Hill. He was riding on a gravel road leading to his ranch, but all of his reports were more than 10 years old or so. For this outdoorsman, a typical day of fishing turned into a brush with a giant. One never can tell when it'll be time for a real Bigfoot encounter. Thanks for watching. I'm Reverend Jeff. May the Squatch be with you.